Hey everyone, welcome back to the Girl of Gen Z podcast. I'm your host Clarissa, and today I have a special guest by the name of Claudia Pawelec. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Claudia is a medical esthetician, and she also is a vegan, and you are very strong into that topic, and I want to get into some conversation about that later on in the podcast episode. But to start, tell us a little bit about what you do right now and how you got into the whole skincare industry.
Yeah, so I'm in medical aesthetics. I have a few jobs right now. I'm always continuing my education as well, but I love the industry. It's a huge industry. It's so much fun, and it's always changing, and there's so many things to learn. So
that's amazing.
I like it.
So as a child, I guess let's dive back a little bit then. You have two sisters.
Yes.
Right? No brothers.
No.
So female dominant household. I love it. Where do you fall in between your siblings? Are you the youngest?
So I'm the youngest.
And how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay.
I'll be 27 soon. But yeah, so one of my sisters, she's 10 years older. The other's 2 years older.
That's quite a big gap.
That's a big gap, yeah. But my mom had her when she was 17. That was back in Poland, back in the days.
Wow.
But I'm very close with my sisters, and one of my sisters has a daughter, so I have a niece as well. So again, all the babies, they come out women, and my cousins are all female and very female dominant. So I'm not that surprised I'm in this industry. I'm close with my dad, yeah.
Is he like, oh my God, there's way too many women around me all the time?
When my sister was pregnant, we went to go tell him, and we're like, oh, so he's pregnant, she's gonna have a baby, and he's like, just one thing, please tell me it's a boy. Oh. I'm like, no, it's a girl. He's like, okay, well, tell me it's healthy, okay?
Tell me some other news to revert away from that. It's another girl.
There's no boys.
That's hilarious. So you mentioned a little bit before we did turn on these mics that your eldest sister, so Sylvia, the one that you just mentioned that had the kid, she kind of got you into this industry. So what was it like growing up? What kind of pushed her to push you to go this path?
Yeah, I mean, I think just having my sisters and being the youngest one as well, I always loved watching YouTube videos. So I'd watch YouTube videos about like how to do hair and like,
oh really?
I used to have really long hair. So I would always like love to style hair. I always loved doing nails and like playing with my nails and, you know, seeing my mom and my sisters, you know, putting on their makeup and doing all these feminine things.
Yeah.
I loved it. I think I naturally just kind of constantly saw that and loved it. And when I finished high school, I was lost. I was so confused.
Really?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. I loved the environment. I loved, you know, obviously with the veganism, I loved animals, and I thought maybe I should go into a field doing that. But I was so confused. I really didn't know. And I took a year off school, and my sister Sylvia, she's the one who told me. We were flipping through the books, and we saw the Esthetics in one of the programs at Humber College, and she's like, why don't you try it? You know, you can have your own spa one day. You love this beauty stuff. You know, if you don't like it, it's not that long of a program. You can just drop out. And I was like, oh, all right. You know what? Why not? I'll try it. And when I was signing up for it, I do love, you know, all that girly stuff that I mentioned, but I also I do find sometimes I am a tomboy, and I'm not
really
as girly. So I'm kind of in between. I'm very in between. And I thought, well, I don't want to be doing hair all day, and I don't want to be doing makeup all day. And is that really for me? I don't know if I want, you know, I love it to do it on the side, but do I want a career in this? And I was so confused. I was just lost. And when I went into I signed up for the school, and I went into the program, and the first year I learned it's all theory. It's completely theory. And when she dived in about what we're going to be learning about how skincare really is so complicated, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much in this industry, and I was like, wow, you know, this is not just, when people ask me, they're like, what do you do? And I would say, I do aesthetics. They're like, oh, so you do makeup, hair, and nails? And it's like, no, like there's so much more to that. You know, when it comes to skin concerns and people with severe rosacea and eczema and acne and these skin concerns, even nails, when it comes to like fungus on the nails and these different, you know, it's not just the beauty world. It's also skin health. And I think that's when I was like, oh, I love this. This is so fun. This is so interesting. And it's not just the basics.
So your mindset almost completely changed once you kind of were going through that theory part.
Exactly. So I love the theory. And so many of the girls ended up dropping out in the first year. Like,
did you think
over
you were going
half
to be
the girls.
in that group?
I thought maybe. Because in my head I was thinking, I'm just trying this out. I just want to see if I like it or not. And so many of the other girls, they had a different mindset as to, I hope it's easy. I hope, you know, I could just learn something and do it.
And then go start my business.
And then go start a business or open a spa, or, you know. And when they started learning that there's so much complicated things in this and there's so many things to learn. They were like, oh no, this is too much information this is too hard.
Yeah.
And when you have to memorize, like if you look at the back of an ingredient list on a product and you have to memorize those names and you have to know what they are, that's you can I can't even pronounce half of them.
And they go over
and
this
we
in
had to
class?
do these in the exams. We had to say, we had to know these ingredients. And I think a lot of the girls are like, oh no, I can't
Not
even
for
pronounce
me.
this. I can't do this. Forget it. But
How long was this program?
2 years. So 2 years.
Okay.
So there are some aesthetic courses where people go for 6-month courses. I did medical aesthetics. So at Humber College, which honestly, amazing school, amazing school.
How were
And
the teachers?
Teachers are incredible. Like
Were they right
my
in the
idols.
industry?
I
Like,
still
they're
talk to
very-
my teachers,
that's
some of
amazing.
them, and they're absolutely amazing. So experienced. Then again, the first year, they don't let you touch anyone's face. They don't let you touch anyone's nails until you've learned the theory,
Yeah.
which is so important because, you hear things happening in this industry so much and it's so unfortunate. You hear people getting burnt or people getting nail fungus or people getting different things, even from waxing a body and ripping skin, and I think that's just lack of training and education.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good that they really make sure you have a good understanding and base before you do go into the practicality of it all. So would you say second year was more hands-on then?
Second year was all hands on.
Okay.
And I'll never forget putting my hands for the first time on my friend's face. And I felt so weird. She's like, put the cleanser in your face and wash their face. And I was like, oh, this is so weird. I'm washing someone else's face. And now it's just second nature to me. I can do it with my eyes closed and I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you ever get a taste of any of this kind of stuff in high school? Like, I don't know, what high school did you go to?
I went to Iona.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we had this conversation actually. I feel like we might have. But regardless, I don't think that they had any
No.
specific courses on
And
that, which is
Iona-
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. And Iona was such a art school. It was so many talented people in that school. And I always felt like, oh
Why
my
isn't there
God,
more
I'm
to cater
awful.
to
I'm
that?
not talented. I'm bad at everything. I'm not a musician or a dancer or this or that. And that's again why I took a year off
To figure it
from
out.
high school to figure out what am I good at.
Right.
You're
right.
surrounded by all these talented people and you're like, oh my God,
I
I
feel like-
didn't even get good grades.
I feel like less people would need. I mean, it's still nice and beneficial to have the year off. It definitely could be put to good use, but I feel like less people would take that year off if schools, high schools specifically, catered to more groups. Like, for example, someone that wants to maybe work in the automotive industry, like maybe they want to play around with the car at school and figure out, the mechanics on how all that works, but they don't have that opportunity when they don't offer courses like that, or like skincare or like a beauty class, or just something to be like, do I like this? Do I not like this?
100%. I think in high school, we're so pressured to go to university, be a doctor, be a lawyer, do something that's going to make you big bucks. And it's like when someone goes to college where they do offer these courses where, you can learn everything and anything hands-on. It's almost like people don't take us as seriously. It's like we feel this guilt in us. Like I felt that way when I was doing aesthetics. I had some of my mom's friends be like, you should go to university or you should study something serious and
What was your response to that?
my response, like I would just, I
Brush it
made my
off?
decision so that it was no going back. I felt comfortable with it. I was excited for it, to be honest. Like, and I was super excited to go to college. And I knew I wasn't that girl that wanted to go to university and study the books and all that stuff. And I have so many friends that went to university because they're, especially like European parents, they're pushing their kids go to university and then they end up dropping out and they're in debt, thousands of dollars, and they're doing
they're
something
more
that they don't
lost.
love.
Yeah.
And they're more lost. And with aesthetics, sure, a lot of people who don't understand aesthetics who are like, oh, you're going to be doing nails all day. There are girls that do nails all day, and some of them are very happy. Some of them are not. That's completely personal. But this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is constantly changing, and there are so many opportunities. And I didn't even know how many opportunities there were when I was in school. And now that I understand how many opportunities, you don't have to be in the service providing industry even. You can be a sales rep, you can be working for huge companies.
Yeah,
And
there's the back end and the front
it's a
end.
huge industry. There's so many opportunities. You can be selling medical aesthetic equipment, and you can open your own company. You can open a skincare brand if you wanted to. You can open up a medical spa. You can travel and work, in different countries and places.
The
But
opportunity is just endless.
the opportunities are endless, and it's so much fun. And if you have a passion for it, it's so much fun. Continuing education is is a good thing. You're excited to do it. It's an exciting thing.
Exactly.
So
it's like everyone says, if you do what your passion is, you'll never work a day in your life. And that constantly resonates with me because I think it's true. I do. Obviously, there's going to be times where it's not as fun to be going to work or doing your job, but it's far more likely that you're going to be enjoying what you're doing if you are pursuing something you're absolutely in love with.
Exactly. And if you're enjoying what you're doing, the money will come.
Yes.
You will be successful. And that could go with any job. People get stuck in the job that they're doing and they think, I need to stay here. But it's almost like they're afraid to grow and they're afraid to change their job and they're afraid to learn
it's
something
a big leap.
more. It's scary. Everyone's scared. They think like, let's be safe.
Let's go to the 9 to 5 and like my bills will be paid. Everything will be like consistent money-wise, income coming. But I think taking that leap is really important.
And that could be with any industry. You can be successful, I believe, in any industry that you do. It's a matter of the individual themselves as to how passionate they are, how willing they are to learn more and keep growing.
Expanding their knowledge. Exactly. So honing in then on medical esthetician, is there different like branches to being an esthetician? Because you said somebody would like hone in on nails, for example. What is the breakup?
Sure. So I mean, when I came out of school, I did go into, you don't have to do a 2-year program. I mean, I highly recommend it because doing a 2-year program where, again, that first year is all theory, the second year is all hands-on, you learn more. You definitely learn more. And again, when we're coming out of school, we're so young. So anything that we're gaining information, it's going to be useful for us. But some of the girls they do 6-month programs. So that would be, you're an esthetician. You're not a medical esthetician. So you're not able to work with lasers and more medically advanced skincare lines, let's say, and technology. Which a lot of the girls are fine with. Some of the girls go into specializing in just nails. So they'll do a nail course and they become a nail tech. You have waxologists who specialize in waxing.
That's a word.
Waxologists. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And waxing, like, oh my gosh. I respect those girls so much because that is a hard job. And there's so many different types of waxing, there's sugaring, there's hard wax, there's soft wax, there's different techniques and ways to do it. And, if you've ever had a bad wax, that's not fun. So I respect those girls too, but it's not for everyone, right? So you kind of got to find your niche and got to figure out what you love to do.
How did you find yours? Like, how were you like, I don't like waxing. I have no idea if you like waxing, but how did you start eliminating, being like, okay, this is my path. I'm going to choose this one.
That I feel like I'm still almost finding my path.
Okay.
Just because I do love it all, but it's tough. I almost tried it all.
Okay.
Because I feel like some of the girls, again, they get stuck. I have a lot of my friends who are like, I'm in this job and I've been doing this for 5 years now. Like, what should I do? Where should I go? And I'm like, why don't you try the medical field? Why don't you try like holistic facials? Why don't you try being a sales rep? And they're like, I don't have experience. I don't know. And I'm like, well, just try it.
Yeah,
you never know, and then you'll
for
figure it
yourself.
out. But for me, I began with luxury facials, so in a very luxury spa. It was a beautiful spa. So when I first started out, I was doing a lot of nails, pedicures, waxing, which I learned quickly I hated.
What did you not like about it?
I hated it. You know what? I actually didn't mind pedicures. It's fine. I like turning someone's feet to be like very beautiful and like, it feels good when you get to scrub someone's foot. That sounds so weird. But there was something good about it when you see like that shiny clean foot after and you're like,
yeah, so like I did that.
You're so fresh now. But oh my God, just like I don't have the patience. I don't even do my nails anymore. When I was, young, but I don't have the patience for polish. I don't find I'm doing enough. I like doing facials because I like the connection that I get with the person. I like to help someone. Yeah. So when they come to me with skin concerns and they're really confused and they don't know, or when somebody has hormonal acne and they're just, your face it's everyone can see it. You can't hide it. You can only put on.
It's not like the feet.
Yeah, you can hide your feet.
It's like they're relying on you to fix the problem.
And they look at, and for someone to come to me, whether it's someone older, an adult who comes to me and says, hey, I don't know how to get rid of my pigmentation or take care of, like, I'm aging. What do I do? And they're coming to you and they're expecting that you know this. And there's almost like this vulnerability that they have. And so when I can help these people, I feel like at the end of the day, I feel really accomplished. I feel really good. And especially when someone, like, I love my acne clients, because when they come back to me and a consistent regime and a consistent facials and services, and then months later their skin's clear, like, they're
That's
so
probably such
happy,
a
like,
good feeling.
and it's such a good feeling for me and them. It's just an
You both
amazing
win.
feeling. So I don't really get that when I do nails. I don't enjoy it. I have girls that love it and they're so good at it and they're amazing. And I'm always hard on myself. I never felt like I can get it into to perfection. So, and then once I started doing facials, I was doing a lot of luxury facials. And I loved it. I really loved it. I think there's definitely like this certain energy that you get between two people when there's a connection, when, you know, it's like a circuit. When you plug the circuit in,
Right.
there's this energy happening. And the same thing when you touch someone, even when you shake someone's hand, that energy is transmitting from you and that person.
Right.
And when you're doing these facials and you can sense who's so stressed out, and you can sense who's, you know, who's
Really?
very comfortable and trusts you, who doesn't trust you, who doesn't want to be there, who does
Right.
want to be there. And it's an amazing thing. And I started loving that. So it made me think, hey, maybe I want to start doing Reiki, and maybe I want to start doing more holistic facials. But then I switched and I went into medical aesthetics, and I started working with lasers. And when I saw what these lasers can do, I was just in awe. Like, it's amazing what these lasers can do, especially nowadays. I'm
Yeah.
so happy to be an esthetician in 2020, where our technology is incredible.
Yeah. That's true.
And when you can see, like, even IPLs nowadays, the way that it's lifting pigment off the skin, and the way it's lifting sun damage, and the way it's getting rid of acne, and I fell in love with that. So again, I'm always changing my field. I still love the luxury aesthetic. So my motto is luxury facials with medical results, because I love to
I like that.
incorporate both of that. I don't like when you go into a medical setting and people are scared. You know, they walk in and they see these lasers and they see this bright white room and they lay down and they're so scared. Am I going to get burnt? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And so I always try to kind of mix the two, because I think even if you're going for a wax, or you're going for a laser treatment, or you're going for a facial, it's your time to relax. You know, that might be that mother's time of day where she's not with her kids, and she's just so happy to lay in a bed, and I want her to relax and enjoy that treatment. So
Right.
I always try to mix kind of I want those medical results with the lasers, but I still want them to have that, because facials feel good. Facials feel so good. And a lot of people don't know that, who didn't get facials. They think,
Yeah,
you know,
I've
it's
never had
awkward
one.
and we're washing your face and we're picking at your extractions. That's not the case. You know, we have so many muscles in our face. And when you can massage the face and you can get the right pressure points, it feels amazing. It's a full body massage just on your face, right? And it feels so good to release all that tension that we carry in our brow bone and our
Yeah.
cheeks and our jaw. So I love relaxing people, but I still want those results, right? So if we could just mix those two worlds together.
Perfect two worlds combined.
So
Best of both
that's-
worlds, as Hannah Montana would say.
Yeah. I love that show.
Me too. What a throwback.
Yeah, so I think that's where I fit in, really. But
So who does your facials?
I mostly do my own.
Really?
Mostly, yeah, because I'm so busy.
Fair enough.
And I always do. I definitely try to make the time, because, again, I think everyone deserves a facial. Everyone deserves to find that right facialist that, you know, they'll feel so good getting these facials once a month and they'll want to come back. So sometimes we switch. We'll do service for service when we have gaps in our schedule, or when we have
That's
time.
nice.
Or usually I'll do it with like RMTs. I'll be like, I'll give you a facial for a massage. And I try to at least get a
That's pretty
massage in,
sick.
since I'm taking care of my skin.
Yeah.
But we're always I'm always doing courses in skincare, so then they'll always need models, so we always get to do it on each other as
That's
well.
sweet.
So it's nice.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
So let's touch on then the jobs you're currently in. We talked about a little bit before getting on the mics, but do you want to touch on that a bit?
Yeah, so I work in a luxury hotel in Yorkville. Very luxury hotel. So we get some famous people, so it's really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's more luxury facials. Which I do. I love it. It's so nice, and the clients are amazing. The people that I work with are amazing. And then I also work with a dermatologist in Oakville, part-time as well, and I'm a laser technician there, so I'm doing all the laser services.
Okay,
so
sounds
it's
really
nice to have
specific.
a balance between both. because sometimes I'm not going to lie, when you're doing facials all day, luxury facials all day in a dark room, a dark setting, people are, they're snoring away. You don't really speak a
Oh
lot.
my God, they snore?
Oh, all the time. I'm telling you, facials are very relaxing. Luxury facials are very relaxing. These people, like, they pass out. It's so funny. And then, so sometimes, if I were to do that full time, I would get bored. So I love that I'm there part time because it's just the perfect amount of time. And then I go into my medical settings where I can actually really help people who have more skin issues versus people who want more of that relaxation.
Gotcha. And how many days are you at the hotel?
4 days I'm at the hotel and then 2 days with the dermatologist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your own gig.
Yeah. And then I work at home. I have a little spa set up as well.
Okay, so I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, do you have like your own office, or do you work out of your home and have like a little office?
So I actually one day I was at home and we have a guest room and it was never used. Sometimes my friends when they sleep over, but it was never being used. And my sister came over on vacation one time and she's like,
"Which one? Which sister?"
Sylvia. And of course. And we were in the guest room and we're like, what should we turn this room into? Like, should we turn it into a gym? Should we turn it into a yoga studio? And I was like, I should do services from home. People always ask me that. And she's like, yeah, that's a great idea. And we actually, funny enough, had a massage bed at home. A super random.
Who got it for you?
Sylvia bought it years ago. Sylvia's an interesting character. She bought it years ago because it was her first time online shopping and it was like a bid. And I think the bid was like $10 and she's like, ooh, $20. And someone's like $30 and she's like, $40. And then the time ran out and it was like sold. I think so. And she's like, wow, great. And so she got it. And we're all like, one day we just see this massage table and in our house and we're like, what is it? And she goes, I don't know. It's like bamboo. It's great. Maybe one day we'll use it. And we stored it for years. Not once did we even unfold that thing. And then I was like, hey, we have that massage bed in the storage
that you bid on and forgot about
years ago before I even came into this industry. And we were laughing. So we pulled it out and it was great bed, great table. And those things are expensive. They can be a few $100s.
So her bid was probably really good.
So her bid was great. That was a great bid, Sylvia. Thank you, Sylvia. If you're listening, thank you. And then we did it within one day. One day we went to IKEA.
You just bought all the stuff.
We sold the beds. Yeah, online shopping is great.
Yeah,
I put the beds on Kijiji. Someone bought it that day, that hour, and I'm like, this is great.
That's awesome.
So we completely changed that guest room. We turned it into a spa, and I love it. It's so nice working from home.
So how often would you say you have people come and right out of that office?
From there, it depends. I take people whenever I can. So sometimes I start work evenings at 4:00 and I'll have like 2 clients in the morning time and then I go off to my work. A lot of times I get people in the evening who, they can't make it to the spa and they're like, oh, I finish work at 8:00, 9:00. And I'm like, you know what, come to my home spa. I'm free. Let's do it. Let's do a nighttime facial. But I would say like 5 days a week, 2 to 3 people a day coming in. Yeah. Sometimes even if I get one person a day, there's definitely quiet weeks and there's busy weeks, right?
Of course.
I find everyone always comes for their facials all at once and then they're good for the next month.
And what's that, like Christmas time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Christmas time gets crazy.
Yeah.
Christmas time gets crazy. Everyone has places to go and events to go and they want to,
my skin to freaking look good.
Yeah. They want that glowing skin for sure. For sure.
So, well, because you used to live with your parents?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say, how did they accept the whole like, hey, I'm turning this space into my own space?
So I mean, I live with my mom, Paula, and Paula's a flight attendant, so it's pretty fine.
Oh,
so she's, she's never home.
Flight attendant.
And my mom, she just asked because sometimes at first it was getting pretty busy. And my mom would come home from work and there are people in my living room just waiting for me upstairs while I'm finishing a client. And my mom's like, okay, this is a little weird. My mom's the nicest person in the world, but she's like, I feel bad. Like I want to start cooking and things.
Invasion
and she feels like
your home.
Yeah,
in that way. I
definitely.
Get that. She's like, do I go about my daily routine or do I have to pause?
And she was nervous too because I do have a lot of male clients as well. I have a lot of boyfriends from my girlfriends or even just men who are like, oh, she does waxing on the chest. I can do it from home. And they feel more comfortable going home to someone than going to a spa where, you know, they feel a little bit intimidated.
Yeah.
So, you know, when she comes home and there's a man sitting in the living room, it gets a little awkward. So actually, when I started getting really busy, I went off and I opened up, I rented a room in another clinic. So I did that as well, which was going super well. I loved it. I took everyone from my home and I brought them there instead. That's when I quit my job and I was like, I'm going to work for myself. I rented a room and it was going super, super well. I loved it. And then my sister was in Australia and that's when she told me, she's like, you got to come to Australia, come, you know, check it out. And I thought I was going to go for 2 weeks and I ended up staying for a year.
Yeah.
So I got rid of that place. And then when I came back from Australia, I was like, I started doing it from home again, right? I have the room, but I definitely have to coordinate between times.
Gotcha.
As to when my mom's home, at least, just to have some respect.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. But they're super supportive of your whole.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. I mean, I give them free facials all the time, so they
So
better
they can't
be.
complain.
Yeah.
Who enjoys it more, your mom or your dad?
My mom.
Yeah.
My mom. Yeah, of course. Because she was obsessed with Nivea. I don't know why every Polish mom is obsessed with Nivea.
I don't think it's just a Polish thing. Like, my grandma loves Nivea too.
I
Loves
mean,
it.
okay, sure. But, you know, I like my medical products. So when I got her on like a really good skincare products and all of that, and she started seeing so many changes in her skin, and all like her friends started coming to me being like, what are you doing for your mom? Like, why does her skin look so good? I want the same thing, right? So
that's really funny.
I think she's happy.
Did you ever have a job before going into this industry? Like, did you have like a 9 to 5 that you were like weren't quote happy with, or did you go out of school right into?
I was bartending. I was bartending for years, yeah. Which I
Makes
loved.
sense, because that's kind of how we met.
Exactly.
Not kind of. That is how we met. So did you just like bounce from place to place, or were you at one place for like a long duration of time? Did your sisters get you into it again?
See, that's how I am. I bounce place to place to place, and that's how I was with bartending as well. I worked in so many different places. I even worked in Cayman Islands at one point, you know, traveling and stuff. I love, that's kind of me. I can't stay in one place
for too long. Yeah.
For too long. And that's same with aesthetics, which I think I picked a good field to not stay in the same place. Cause you know, when you get a job, you want to stay in the same company and grow. But with aesthetics, you can't really grow. You know, you could be the top facialist at your spa, but there's nothing above facialist. You know, that's it you can do. But the thing is, there's so many different aspects in aesthetics. There's so many different directions you can go. So I love to go in each direction and learn a little bit from this, a little bit from that, a little bit of this, and kind of incorporate that in my business and with my clients. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So was there ever a cross between bartending and your field?
I think bartending, I like the social aspect to it. Because people would ask me, oh, what do you study? What do you do? And I would tell them about skincare. And
Here's
then I found
card.
myself like talking about skincare while I'm serving them, you know, a glass of wine or something. But very different. But
different dynamic for sure.
Very different dynamic. But that was fun too. You know, it was fun when I started off in doing aesthetics, and then I would go on a night shift and work at a nightclub or work bartending at
Did you work at some
beautiful
nightclubs?
Restaurant. I did work at a nightclub.
Is it Toronto?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if I should say where I worked. Oh my gosh. I've worked at some funny places. One of them was Music Nightclub, actually.
Okay.
But it shut down right after the shooting. But places like that where, again, completely different from aesthetic field. Very, very different. But it was so fun. I love that I can have such a calm, relaxed job in the daytime. And then at nighttime, I was like, music's
busy
up
hustle,
and
yeah.
very different music. No birds chirping, that's for sure.
That's hilarious.
So it was fun, but...
Okay, so let's get into some most common skincare questions you're asked. So what are some things that people come to and you feel like you're constantly hearing over and over again? You're telling the same advice.
You know what? The most common skincare question that people ask me, and I probably get it every single day, is, what are you using? What do you do? And I hate that question so much. And it's the last...
everyone's skin's different.
Everyone's skin is different. And, you know, I'm very oily skin, acneic prone. And someone who's like aging with dry skin, you know, someone with rosacea, and they're like, what do you do? And And I'm like,
Honey,
I
ain't
don't want to tell you.
Do you say that? You're like, I'm not going to tell you what I use, but.
If this is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll laugh. I'll tell them that exact thing. I'll tell them the same thing, that my skin is very different from yours. And I think what that question really is asking is, what's the miracle product? You know it all. What's that product that's going to change my skin?
Right.
And I'm sorry to break it down to everyone. There's no product. There's no miracle. Everyone wants that one facial, and then they want to come out and have like beautiful skin, or their acne's gone. Everyone wants that one product from Sephora or whatever they're marketing on Instagram. You know, you see it on Instagram, all of these products coming out like just in 2 days and 1 week, and you can have that beautiful skin. Your acne will be gone. Your pigmentation's gone, and it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. And
it's all a bunch of baloney.
it's the best way is you go to the gym and you work out your abs. Are you going to have a six pack when you come out?
No.
No.
That's very true. It's a good
You know?
comparison. Do you say that to people?
I do tell that to people, and that's exactly it. And you can be working out your abs for a month, but you can go home and be eating burgers and drinking Cokes and not having the right meal plan, which would therefore be your skincare line at home that you're using versus
Right.
getting facials, right?
Right.
You're not going to see the results unless you're consistent.
So what's a way of saying, because people say, what's the saying for the gym? Is it, you work out at the gym, but your abs are made at home, like implying what you eat and fuel your body with is really what's going to help the outcome?
It's made in the kitchen.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Is there like a facial?
I mean, your kitchen's at home, so.
Is there like a facial terminology in that world to compare to?
That's how I compare it to. I mean, if I can make one up right now, it'd be your skin's made in the bathroom.
Wash your face every day. Don't exfoliate too often. Like, is there like the typical common like steps that you
Of course, like I recommend everyone to be on a vitamin C serum in the daytime, 100%. And I tell that to every single client because that's so important. A vitamin C it's so important for us to eat as well. It's important for our immune system, but it's just as important for our skin health, from avoiding pigmentation damage, fighting free radical damage, for the health of our lipids on our outer skin. It's so important. You'll have brighter, healthier skin. And that's for everyone's skin type. And then I'm huge on vitamin A, which is your retinols, which is, some people are so scared of that ingredient and that word, because a lot of people have used a retinol, and it could be in a very aggressive serum. It could be a very aggressive ingredient.
Like it reacts really heavy, or like what do you mean aggressive?
Aggressive in the sense, so some people are prescribed a retinol. They'll go to their dermatologist and they're like, I want beautiful skin, and the dermatologist usually gives them a vitamin A, which can be in the form of a retinol, a retin A, a tretinoin. But this is a very aggressive ingredient because the molecules are very small. They penetrate into the skin and they cause cell turnover. So it self-exfoliate. Our skin is self-exfoliating itself. So a lot of times you may notice peeling, flakiness, very dry, irritated skin, which is the process. But if someone uses a retinol or vitamin A in a very low dosage consistently, they won't notice that crazy effect, right?
Okay.
So I love vitamin A's. They can do miracles. They can do amazing things. You just have to find the right one for you. Use something maybe more gentle. And yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so the next question I have is skincare myths. So one that, I don't know if this may be a myth, I have no idea, that's why I'm going to bring it to the table. Way back when I started watching YouTube videos of like girls doing makeup and beauty, they would always say, when you're putting on eye cream or like your foundation or concealer under your eyes, to always use like your fourth finger because it's the most gentle and it like won't like create wrinkles down the road. Is that a myth, or is that?
It's not a myth.
Okay.
That's actually true. And it's not so much because your finger is more gentle. It's because your fingers have heat, like your natural heat.
Okay.
So the heat is supposed to help with any creasing and going to help to blend in that makeup a lot better. It also helps when the heat with the eye cream. It'll absorb nicely. So that's not a myth.
Heat
yeah.
for this, just this
It's
finger,
mostly just for the heat from your hands. That
They
your hands
never
are emitting. Yeah.
They failed to mention that every time. I was like,
Yeah.
so why this finger? Here I am, like 6 years later, still
Still using that finger. It could be any finger.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, my pinky's pretty gentle, but now it has nothing to do with the gentleness of the touch of your finger.
I mean, it is gentle. I mean, you can, feel how much pressure you're using, but it's more so just that heat that's emitting off your hands.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm really glad you corrected that.
Don't worry about that one finger.
Are there any other myths that you constantly like hear people talking about?
There's so many myths in skincare. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so many. Even like going back to retinol, one of a huge myth from retinol is everyone's like, "Oh, don't use retinol; it thins your skin." And I've heard estheticians say this, which again, that's where I want to talk about my continuing education.
Yeah, and you're like, where did you get yours?
Yeah, so retinol doesn't thin your skin. Retinol thickens your skin. It actually thickens your
It
dermis.
does the
That's the
opposite.
entire purpose of retinol, to thicken the skin, make it healthier, stronger. The reason people say it thins your skin is because it sheds that outer layer of your skin, that very superficial outer layer. And the reason it's shedding that is because it's exfoliating. So when it's exfoliating, new skin cells are like, hey, I need to grow. I need to kind of, push through. And when they're pushing through, that old skin's shedding off. So you'll see that old skin shedding off, which again, that's when you're using something very aggressive like a Retin-A or something prescribed, you'll definitely see it. You'll see that skin peeling and coming off. But that's just, again, because new skin's growing through, and a lot of new skin's growing through at a lot quicker pace than it would naturally. Even a retinol cream like that you can get over the, like in Sephora or anywhere, they're still doing the same thing, but a very light percentage. So you'll notice maybe a little bit of flaky dry skin, but not too much.
Nothing
but
crazy.
That's because new skin's growing through and your skin's thickening over time, but it's not thinning. That's one of the huge myths that I get. There's so many myths out there. Wow. Let me think. Do you have a list of any others?
I don't have a list, but another
I
one
can
that comes
correct
to
them.
mind is sunscreen. People ask, like I've heard multiple girls that like I know, should you wear sunscreen even if you're not going outside directly in sunlight for the day? Like in your car, does it affect through the window? Like, do you know where it lies, where that kind of fact
So
lies?
sunscreen, and I'll admit, even when I started aesthetics, I was kind of annoyed of sunscreen. I was like, because everyone was like, where's sunscreen? And I've traveled so much. I love getting a tan. I loved it all. And when I really started learning the effects of the sun, and I really started seeing client to client every single day and seeing the effects that the sun is having on these people, I definitely now I'm huge. I have everyone on an SPF. Especially our ozone layer now. I mean, again, why I'm vegan as well, environmental issues, but our ozone layer is very thin and it's not the same as it was before. And you're seeing more and more people getting skin cancer and getting these pigmentation marks on their face. And even driving in the car, your hands on the steering wheel, everyone gets those pigmentation marks on their hands. And I have so many clients now, they're like, how do I get rid of this? And we have a long way to go. And if it was just, it could have easily been prevented if you just wore your SPF daily. If you find an SPF that you really like, it doesn't have to be this crazy SPF that we wore as kids, where you're all white and you just feel greasy and
it's
gross.
Funny you mentioned that. So what,
I think
what
that's what people think of when they think of SPF.
100%, that's what I think of.
My favorite SPF would be ZO Skin Health. They have a beautiful tinted SPF. Dermalogica has great SPFs.
What's the
PCA.
number? Like 15, 30?
So I always recommend minimum 30. The difference between an SPF 30 to 50, you hear some people that are like, I'm using an SPF 50 every day. You're using 30. That's not enough. That's not enough. Actually, the difference between SPF 30 and 50, scientifically, if you did, it's not a big difference at all. But the difference between an SPF 15 to an SPF 30 is a huge difference.
15,
1.5 to
30.
to 230 is a huge difference.
Wow.
So I always say
That's
minimum.
crazy, that comparison.
The comparison's crazy, and again, it's the molecular structure of these SPFs, but I would say minimum SPF 30. If you don't want to go higher than that, that's fine. I always recommend a physical SPF versus a chemical. Some of the SPFs will state that on the
Right.
SPF themselves. Chemical could be a little bit. I mean, a physical SPF is better for anyone with sensitive skin or people who say they break out from an SPF. That sits on the top of your skin. It's not going to penetrate in like a chemical SPF. So it just works different ways with how it's kind of bouncing that radiation off your face. But I recommend a physical SPF at least 30. I love tinted SPFs. You end up like, once you find the right tinted SPF for your skin, it's like finding the right foundation or the right lip gloss. You're like, this one's for me. But I do recommend it. If you just did it every single day, you're gonna be so happy. You're gonna prevent so much issues later on. The sun creates aging skin, pigmentation. It can create larger pores. It's a huge culprit. And
so if I was sitting at home all day working, would you recommend I still put on sunscreen, like for that 1% chance I might go out like for an hour later in the evening?
I mean, If you don't want to, that's fine. But there is a lot of studies that show, if you're on your computer all the time, like I have one of my friends, she's an assistant, she's constantly on her computer screen, and there's a lot of evidence that UV, it's different than UVA and UVB light, but it's still
Really?
having a cause. And I think the radiation is causing aging in our skin for sure. Um,
But by how much, you don't know?
But it just depends on how long you're on that computer, how
Yeah.
long you're in this, all these superficial lights. It definitely does take a toll on our skin every single day, right? So if you're really concerned about aging and you're really concerned about pigmentation and you're really concerned about skin cancer, then yeah, just wear your SPF every day. Get in the habit of waking up and putting on your
One of your
moisturizer, your
steps.
serums, and then your SPF.
100%. Yeah, there was a photo. I think it was years ago. My mom showed it to me. It was on like CB24 or something. I don't even know. But it was this truck driver. He was a truck driver for most of his life, and he
I've
had
seen
you seen
this.
it. One side of his face is like so sun damaged, and like his arm because that's where it would rest on the window.
I love that picture.
Yeah, and then the other one's like fine, and
Yep.
it just that really got me thinking like, holy crap.
And there are amazing pictures as well with twins. Some of them who used an SPF their whole lives and some of them who didn't. And it's
I would love to see some of those
incredible.
before and
It's
afters.
amazing before and afters. And that's the thing, SPF is not going to do any harm if it's sitting on your face,
Yeah,
but it will if it's not. So, it's not, you don't have to question it. Should I put it on? Should I not? Just put it on.
yeah.
What's the,
Takes 2 seconds.
it's not, there's no harm in putting it on, and you'll do a lot of prevention.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad we touched on that. What is something you wish that you were told before working in this industry?
Okay, great question. Something I wish I was told before the industry would be, I wish someone told me to be more confident. And if there's any advice I can give to anyone who's in the aesthetic field or who's thinking about going into the aesthetic field or who's in school for it, be confident. Because I remember in school, when we were done school and we had a job fair and all the girls, it was like this big circle table and we were just going around and around like 2 minutes each person, and they were, we were taking any job we can get, any job. And some of the girls, again, they ended up taking a job because they were intimidated, and we're so intimidated by everything, and we're so scared, and we're young girls who just finished school and we're thinking, I just want a job, I just want to be
You're
happy.
fresh in the
But
pond.
you're not that confident. And so you take any job and you end up doing, again, like waxing or nails or pedicures all day. And again, great for some people, but it's not for everyone. And eventually the girls are like, I hate aesthetics, I hate this field. And if they just had that confidence in them to say, I deserve better, I see myself somewhere else, or I want to do other things, they would. And I had the confidence to quit my job after 4 years and work for myself. I had the confidence to apply to a medical clinic when I had no experience. And in my head, I was like, no one's going to hire me. But I just, and it was Sylvia. Sylvia always was the one to give me that confidence. So I wish these girls could have someone, like, whether it's their teachers, to say, have the confidence in yourself. You will learn. It's constantly changing, this industry. You need to constantly be learning. And if you're taking these courses, these extra certifications in different programs and stuff, you'll have that confidence. But again, I have some of my friends that are like, I want to leave my job and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, why don't you apply for a medical aesthetic job? And they're like, I don't have experience, I'm too scared. And it's like, just do it. If people see that you're passionate about this industry and that you're a passionate person and that you're humble and you're genuine and you're willing to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and you have that confidence in yourself, you can do it. You'll get that job. You'll get the education you need.
Yeah, and it might be one of the best decisions they've ever made.
Yeah.
Taking that big leap.
Because I did the same thing. I took any job I can get, and I was really happy with the job I got after school. But I stayed in it for 4 years, and I do think a lot of that was because I didn't have the confidence to say, Claudia, leave,
Yeah.
go try something else.
Yeah.
And again, with this industry, you need to be constantly learning and experimenting with different technologies and stuff if
For
you
sure.
really want to help your clients.
For sure. That's
So
a great answer. Truly. So my next one was, what are some, I'm going to change it a bit, some short-term effects after getting a facial and some long-term effects. So microdermabrasion, am I saying that right? I've noticed like a lot of people that once they get it, their face is very, very red, and almost like uncomfortable, I want to say, after they get it. But then like the longer term effect is like their skin looks unbelievable. So do you want to like touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question because I mean, first of all, it really depends on what treatment you're getting. You know, chemical peels, for instance. I love chemical peels. I'm
Like doing
huge
them
on
or
chemical
like,
peels.
okay.
Getting them done, doing them for results. I love chemical peels for results. But some people, you know, I ask them, I'll be like, hey, did you want to get an enhancement? Did you want to add a chemical peel to this facial? And they're like, no, I'm so scared. No, no, no. How much downtime do you need? I'm going to be all red. I'm going to be peeling. So many of them watch that. What is that show? There's this show, all those women.
The reality show?
Yeah.
Housewives?
Is it Housewives? No, it's not
Not
Housewives. It's with
Bachelor.
oh, this is so painful. But basically, it's a TV show,
Reality
and she
show.
got a chemical. And I don't think it's a reality show. It's
Oh,
just
it's
a
just a
TV
comedy
show.
show?
Yeah, like
Okay.
it just and she got a chemical peel. Very popular show. I'm hating
Can't put
myself
your
for
tongue
yeah.
through it now, yeah.
But she got a chemical peel, and her skin was just swollen red. You know, like it looked horrendous.
So it scared everybody.
And so everyone, you know how many women come up to me and be like, did you watch that episode of blah, blah? Is that how I'm going to look? Is that? And I'm like, oh my God, guys, this is a show, a TV show. Keep in mind, like chemical peels as well. There's like, you can get a very light 10% lactic acid peel, or you can do an aggressive 30% salicylic acid peel, which, yeah, you're going to need at least like a day or two downtime. You know, you will notice a little bit of skin peeling, flakiness, versus a 10% lactic acid peel where I would say, hey, if you want to get married tomorrow and put on your makeup, go for it. You know, you won't have any downtime. Same with lasers. You know, some people, you can do a non-ablative, no downtime laser, or you can do an ablative fractional, which you're going to need a few days.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you're honest and can tell them up front. Like,
Yeah. I mean, skin takes time, especially with microneedling. Microneedling is a great service because people expect the results after 2 days, after a week. And again, your skin cells take time. Our skin cells take time to turn over. We stimulate it. We can stimulate the skin, and we have stimulated the skin, but the results aren't going to happen right away. We're not going to peel off your skin and give you new skin.
right.
We've stimulated your skin to cause new cell growth. So when those new skin cells are growing, you will see differences usually within 2 to 4 up to 6 weeks later, depending on how quick your skin cells can turn over, you know, and that
Makes
depends on your
sense.
age, your genetics. So it takes time. You won't see immediate results with anything. You'll see nice glowing skin immediately after a facial, immediately after a skin. You see that glowing skin because we took off that dead skin that was just on that surface.
Yeah.
So your skin's glowing, but for real results when it comes to pigmentation and you know, real skin concerns, not just glowing skin, that takes time.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess. You can't see immediate results all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny, actually. My dad recently mentioned that he read in some type of, I don't know, it was business magazine or article that women are spending less money on makeup now and more on skincare. And he was just like, so amazed of the numbers and how much money women will put into getting like good quality skincare.
Oh yeah.
I just want to like bring that fact to you and like what
I
you think
love
about
that.
it.
I love that. And I noticed that a lot as well because even like my sister is 10 years older than me. And when she was in high school, makeup, you know, it was like green shadow on your eyes, like blush up to your like forehead. Oh my God. So much makeup. And it was trendy and it was huge. And I don't think women were spending that much money on skincare because, you know, you just cover your face with all this makeup. No one cared. It was more, we cared about makeup. And now I think it's dying and all the girls, you know, they're just tired. They're tired of waking up in the morning and putting on all this makeup and that more natural look. I think it has a lot to do with the models, you know, like Gigi Hadid and I don't know, etc. You know, they do have this more natural approach with their makeup. It's not full blown stage makeup. It's very natural.
Well, I feel like a lot of people now get lash extensions and they have their eyebrows done. So really, it's like
they want
I don't need all
less
that
time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Wake
very
up and
time
go.
consuming. Makeup's very time consuming.
For sure.
So if you're, you know, and everyone like has that nice glow to their skin, and so I think women like see this glowing skin they want that, you know. So and that's having a good skincare regimen, and that's getting your facials, and that's exfoliate your skin.
Preach.
But I love that. I do love that's changing now.
Yeah.
I mean, I love makeup as well. Makeup's not a culprit. Everyone thinks, oh my God, I wear makeup. Is that bad? Is that bad? I mean, I think makeup, you know, I had one client the other day tell me, she's like, I stopped wearing makeup and I'm getting more breakouts. And I was laughing and I'm like, a lot of it, you know, makeup, if you have a good quality makeup, it could actually, there's SPF in makeup. It's also almost putting this shield from when you go outside. It has this shield on your skin from all the like pollution and all of that stuff. So I think her skin's now is more vulnerable. But again, that takes a good quality makeup. And I think the issue is we put on our makeup in the morning, we don't wash it off until midnight or when we go to bed.
Yeah, very true.
That's the issue, right? So if we weren't to wear makeup for so long, it's sitting on our skin for so long, then it becomes, you know, you can start experiencing breakouts and, you know, you start sweating under your makeup and that's not good, right?
Right. So that's interesting that you say that. So what would you say for girls who like to wear like makeup to the gym? Does it clog your pores?
Exactly. So
right?
even wearing your makeup at the gym, I don't recommend it. I mean, you know, sure, some mascara, some, you know, I do filling in your eyebrows, putting something on your lips to make yourself feel, you know, more confident, feel better. I'm all for that. But when you're wearing like a thick foundation or a heavy powder, you know, like one powder that I really like is Jane Iredale. She has a powder that will be medium to full coverage and it's not going to clog your pores like a foundation and a, you know.
So is it meant for more like active
Exactly.
Okay.
It's actually, she considers it an SPF versus say a makeup.
Oh, well, that's a good claim.
Yeah, exactly. So something maybe, you know, quality.
Yeah.
Quality makeup, it makes a difference with the ingredients that you're putting on your face for sure. You know, all these makeups with talc and all these chemicals and all this. You're putting it on your face and it's sitting there for hours and then you go to the gym and you're sweating underneath it. So that's not good, you know. But if you have a good quality makeup, you're putting a translucent powder on top where, you know, it's actually going to help with your oil production. It could actually be really beneficial for your skin. I've had some clients who've worn makeup their whole lives and their skin looks beautiful. And then I had clients who didn't wear makeup their whole lives and they have so many pigmentation issues. And, you know, it all depends, you know, it all really depends. But makeup's not the devil. It's not a huge, you know, enemy in skincare. You just got to have a good quality and also keep your skin clean underneath it, right?
Right. It goes hand in hand. What are some go-to skincare products that you recommend to like the general population, I guess? Girls and guys. What are some top 3 maybe things?
I mean, again, I love my medical products. Like I love Zeo Skin Health by Obagi. I love PCA. I love SkinCeuticals. Vivier is a really great brand as well. That one is offered more. I like Paula's Choice online. I know that brand kind of blew up and a lot of people ask me about that. But Paula's Choice, they have really, like, I love their BHA exfoliant. And even for men, because when men could just simply wipe something on a cotton pad and just wipe their face with it and not worry about anything else, that'll help them a lot with their pores, for sure. Dermalogica has really great products, and Sephora.
That's a huge one. I feel like I constantly hear people saying they use.
Origins, it's a nice one. There's a few out there. I mean, I don't want to say anything too much, right? Because again, it depends on that person's skin type if they need something more medically advanced or not. But
okay, so what are like your top 3 now specific products? Like, is there an exfoliant that you'd recommend? I don't know, a face wash and maybe a sunscreen, or like what would you pick?
All right, so SPF. Ooh, this is hard. Okay. I have so many favorites. One of my favorites, so for anyone experiencing breakouts or large pores, would be Intensive Clarity Treatment by PCA. Okay. That one can do miracles. It's amazing.
And where can that one be purchased?
That one you can get online actually as well. Any of these products, you know, you can give a quick Google search PCA and then they'll find a clinic near you depending what location you're at.
Got it.
Vitamins. Oh, this is so hard.
You're like, which one's
choosing only 3? I do. If I had to choose like one that's available to everyone, like Paula's Choice, I would definitely choose the BHA exfoliant. I absolutely love that one for brightening the skin. The hyaluronic acid by Lumiere is my favorite hyaluronic acid I've ever used. Blemish and Age Defense by SkinCeuticals. I'm going to start naming like 10 of them right now.
You're past the 3.
Did we? The 10% vitamin C by Zeo Skin.
Okay, well, that's pretty much the skincare talk. Let's go into the vegan talk a little bit because I feel like they go a little bit hand in hand, especially with, I feel like, because how long have you been vegan? Let's start with that.
Oof. I stopped eating meat when I was 12.
Wow. So
So
you're pretty
a
young.
few years, but I was vegetarian for a few years. So I would say strictly vegan about 6 years.
Okay.
And I mean strictly vegan as in with the clothing that I
I was just
purchase,
gonna
the
say makeup
lifestyle,
too.
everything exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, which is again, it's very hard when I'm in aesthetics as well. I always ask the brands like, do you test on animals or do you have any, do you sell in China? Because they have to test on animals if it's being sold in China. It's just the law there. So it's hard sometimes working with these skincare brands where you can't control what brands the spa carries, right?
Very true.
But I hope to see more sustainability in skincare as well, for sure.
Do you find you're looking for cruelty-free products for yourself and your clients, or
100%.
Okay.
And again, it's super hard and it's a sensitive topic and I'm so happy that as Instagram especially, people started seeing so much as to how important it is to have a skincare line that's sustainable and that's ethical. And the more demand that people had, I saw, I saw this industry grow and to see brands in Sephora advertising, we're vegan, we're cruelty free, we don't test on animals. And to say that because they understood, hey, people are looking for this, people are demanding this, we need to make products like this. And that makes me so happy. So I definitely want to support that and tell people, ask your skincare brands, don't be shy and ask them, do you test on animals? Where do you sell? Do you sell in China? You know?
Are they pretty open to having that conversation most of the time, or do you feel like sometimes they're like, oh, this again?
Yeah, so sometimes, so it's funny because we get a lot of skincare reps that come into different spas that I've worked at. And all the girls know, they know I'm going to be the one to raise up my hand when she says, do you have any questions? And I'm going to ask, is your line vegan? Do you test on animals? Do you have any? And they laugh because it's funny the response. You get a response sometimes and someone says, yes, 100%, we are completely against that. And then you get a response like some people are like, no, but because they have lanolin, for instance, it comes from sheep's. And so
Oh,
one representative was like, "Oh no, we have lanolin, but it's ethically sourced, but you didn't go to that farm, you didn't see how it's made, And when you ask them, so who's your supplier? They don't know, they're just trained to say it's ethical, I promise.
yeah.
But it's like,
Let me fact check you real hard here.
actually, so I'll be like, it's not. So I like to see brands that do care because I think everything in every business and industry should be sustainable, should be more sustainable. We're having a huge global crisis right now, and skincare and spas, they're not the greatest. We use so much plastic and the way that these things are packaged, it's awful. So I hope that's going to change, and it is slowly changing. I'm seeing a few brands that are kind of coming out with more sustainable options, and that's amazing.
I definitely would say the improvement's better than 10 years ago. Like now you can confidently, I would think, go into Sephora and be like, I can get my whole face routine right here, just like my foundation, mascara, like just
Everything.
and just know and like feel okay with it.
Yeah, and I love that about Sephora too, because even when I buy makeup, I go to the girls, I'm like, hey, which ones are the vegan brands? And they know right away. They're like, this one, this one, this one, because it is.
Good.
It's
They
something
should be
people are
trained to
talking
know.
about.
Yeah.
Back when I started aesthetics, and you would ask, is this vegan? And everyone would be like, I don't know. No one knew like what is in these products. Why
Let's
wouldn't
Google
it be?
it.
And when you look into how testing on animals, it's extremely cruel. I don't wish that upon anybody. Whatever creature you are. We get something in our eyes and that burns, and we're such babies and we cry and we
That's very
scream,
true,
and
though.
and then if they're just it's cruel. It's so I think people should care. I think what you're putting on your face,
Yeah, it's
it
important to know
matters.
where it's sourced, where it's coming
Exactly.
from, for sure. Um, so you mentioned you were traveling in Australia for a year. How was that with being vegan? I'm always curious as like your meals. Was it tricky?
Oh
Was
my
it
gosh.
annoying? Was it like a happy middle?
Australia was a dream.
Yeah.
And so many people are vegan there. And it was like vegan heaven. Oh my God. I won't lie, when I was in Asia, that was a different story. You know, being in Thailand, Bali was great. Indonesia was great. They definitely, but Thailand was a little tricky. That was a little tricky. I found myself eating very plain food.
Yeah.
But it was still doable. It's always doable, and they get so many tourists, so many travelers. You know, it's veganism is growing all the time. You know, back in a few years ago, it was I feel bad for the people who were vegan like years ago, because that was hard, you know. But now people are more used to it. So when you say the word, at least they know what it is. Even when I was young, I remember when I was like 12 and I was like, I'm vegan, and people were like, so you don't eat meat? Like, I don't eat cheese or dairy. And they're like, what about butter? What about fish? You know, they didn't understand. So now people understand, and they know. So I find like traveling is so much easier now. Like even when I was a little girl traveling with my mom, and you know, it was hard, but now it's so much easier. There's options everywhere. In Australia, it was a heaven. I lived in St. Kilda, and it was like every corner was like vegan this, vegan that. Like I ate vegan croissants for the first time, and I was so happy.
Those?
Amazing. Like you wouldn't even know the difference.
Did your sister Paula tell you about the vegan options before you went out there? Was she like, oh, you've got to try all this stuff when you come?
For sure.
So
she
really
was
prepped
constantly
you.
taking pictures, like, you know, her Instagram with her food, because everyone always asks us, what do you eat? What do you eat? And I'm like, paper.
Actually,
a lot of
nothing.
lettuce. You know, so she takes pictures now to show people like the options that we have, but it's incredible. It's incredible. And again, that's the demand, right? You demand something, and they will supply it.
Yeah. Is anyone else in your family vegan?
We've all gone vegan.
Everybody?
We've all gone vegan.
Even like Sylvia and her kid?
So Amelia, her husband's not vegan, right? So I mean, he tries to be for the most part, and he loves it. He was very, you know, he's from Finland, and he was like, we come from hunters, and he was complete. He said, you guys are gonna die. Like, no. And now he's finally like changing his options.
So he tries to eat as plant-based.
Yeah, because he realized the health benefits, years of eating, you know, vegan food when Sylvia would cook, and he was losing weight, looking better, feeling better. You know, guys are a little bit more stubborn, I would say, but because they think they're gonna shrivel down or, you know, lose their muscles and all that. But yeah, so everyone's pretty much vegan in our house. Amelia, she thinks she's vegan. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna let my 9-year-old niece hear this, but because she loves animals so much, and she understands already she saw the protest that happened in Toronto recently, the environmental protest, and she was like, I want to be involved in this. Like, she cares. Kids have such a good heart, and I think if all kids really understood what they're eating, I don't think a lot of them would. They love animals, and if they were just educated and understood that you can be very healthy as a vegan, right?
She was educated since young.
The thing with kids, they go to a birthday party and there's a cake. You don't want to tell your child, you can't eat the cake because you're vegan. That's so sad. So we make her decide her own choices. She knows what she's eating. She knows when she's eating what. But she makes her own choices now, and when she does have the option and the opportunity, she takes it. She makes the right choice, and I'm so impressed with her. But we don't force it upon her at all.
That's good.
We definitely tell her. Even when she has a green smoothie, we're like, what vitamins are in here? What is it good for? And I always talk about her skin too. I'm like, this is so good for your skin. This is gonna give you strong muscles. This is gonna help you. Like, we're going to Arizona soon, and we're going hiking. And she was like having her green smoothie in the morning. I'm like, you're gonna be so good at hiking. Because it's important that they understand what they're eating. And when she eats like junk food, or she's eating like fries from McDonald's, we'll let her, of course. Life's about balance. You can't be so
rigid.
Yeah, exactly. But she knows, like, ooh, this is gonna make
I'm not gonna feel like a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna need a nap after this. Yeah,
that's hilarious. Okay, so you said that being vegan was a little bit easier in Australia, or a lot easier, and not so much in Thailand. What were some obstacles you felt like you were constantly running into in Thailand?
In Thailand, language barrier for sure, right? You're trying to tell someone I'm vegan, and they're like, and a lot of them are like, yeah. We always laugh because everyone knows in Thailand they're famous for saying same but different. And I want to be like, no, it's different.
It's very different.
So, but you know what? Even in Thailand, like I love that I have Paula with me, and we just look online and we'll put vegan options in Thailand, and the amount of like thank you to all the bloggers out there and people who are posting their experience online,
Huge
because
pro to
we
social
just took
media.
all that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's incredible. And people will just write a blog of all the vegan options near you.
Which is
And
very,
it's like,
very
thank you for doing the
helpful.
work for me,
Very,
because
yeah. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have had that option. All
yeah.
these blogs, like you would have just had to figure it out. But now you just have it basically handed to you on a phone, and you're like, okay, I know my options.
Exactly. I think the one hard part is traveling with your meat eating friends, right? Because
I was gonna ask about that next.
when
Yeah.
you're outnumbered. They want to go for a shawarma or they want to go for this, and you're just kind
What
of
do you
like,
do?
I mean, I don't, I don't judge anyone. I used to eat a lot of meat when I was young. I'm Polish again. We eat kielbasa like there's no
Oh, I
tomorrow.
love kibbles.
Exactly. So I understand. I don't want to take that from them either, right? So sometimes I would go like on my own and eat something, and then I would go with them and just have like a drink or like have an app. There's always an option, right? There's always that salad. I'm not really a salad girl. I like my carbs, but
It's
definitely
something.
if I'm outnumbered, that's so long they respect me, and if there's a place that I really want to go to and they're willing to try that, which my friends, they
Good.
understand how important it is, and they're willing to, they have their cravings, but they're willing to
Good.
definitely
Good
try vegan
balance.
food. And when they have like they try a place that they love and they had one of the best meals, and it makes me happy. So yeah.
That's awesome. Um, so what's your go-to vegan meals that you would make at home? And then what are some things you get when you're out? Or maybe if that's too difficult, you can say like restaurants that are like your go-tos.
Okay, so being the youngest sister, I've been spoiled by my two older sisters because they're amazing at cooking, and my mom's amazing at cooking. They're so creative. I'm awful. I've been like, they just feed me all the time. I'm so bad. It's like my go-to is like sandwiches, but I make really good sandwiches. But Paula's like, they're incredible. We make a lot of power bowls. So you can do like quinoa, rice, veggies, tempeh, all of that stuff. And honestly, though, we've converted all our meals. Like again, I do come from that European background, so even during Christmas time, when like my Polish friends are like, "What do you eat? You don't eat barsh, you don't eat this," like the traditional foods that we normally eat. And we're like, "Yeah, we've modified them all. You just modify it. So if it's butter, you use vegan butter. If it's meat, you can use an alternative like tempeh, and you can make the same foods that you're eating now, just switching one or two or three items." Even mashed potatoes. People are like, how do you eat? There's a vegan option for
There
everything.
are some really good vegan options for like the
Yeah.
alternatives, like you
And
said.
even like vegan cheese, like I don't eat a lot of that, to be honest. But if I do, you find the right one. I have people that are like, I tried vegan cheese. It was gross. And I'm like, well, try another brand. There's so
Yeah,
many brands. There's so many
exactly.
different types. There's cashew based cheeses that I love that are amazing. And then, versus like the Daya that it's, some people might not like.
Yeah,
So
that's I feel like the most glorified one. But then you're like, really, there's better
yeah,
out
but
there.
there's so much better ones out there, right? So just to constantly like I love getting vegan cookbooks, and I love
Trying.
following the recipes because
Hmm.
I have no creativity skills in the kitchen at all. And I feel like you need that as a vegan in this beginning. So I definitely was like, oh my God, what do I eat? Like I was eating such simple, plain food. And then once I started getting like these vegan cookbooks, and you're making like this meatless lentil loaf, and that's incredible. You get creative, you get more creative, but I'm definitely, I say follow people on Instagram, look at what they're making, get some vegan cookbooks, try it out, and then once you kind of slowly get into that, you'll get more creativity skills to make new things, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Restaurants, my favorite vegan restaurant is Planta on Queen Street.
I've heard of it and I've seen everyone tag it on
Okay, so
Instagram.
there is a Planta in Yorkville. I'm not a huge fan of that one. I'm personally not a big fan of that, but there's a new one, and it's completely different. So if
The
anyone went
menu or what?
completely different, the menu, it's Japanese.
Oh,
So versus the one in Yorkville, which is kind of a mix of like pasta, this kind of like I'm not sure what their theme is. But the other one,
everywhere.
it's yeah, it's Japanese. And it's like share plates. They have dumplings. They have incredible sushi. They have incredible like It's very dim lighting. It's huge restaurant, so popular, extremely beautiful, very high end. And it's incredible. I love it. And
So
it's
planta.
anytime I go there and I see it's so busy, and it makes me so happy to see a restaurant like this that's
Thriving.
completely plant based and everyone loves it.
Yeah, I'll have to give
Yeah.
that one a try. Because there's one in Port Credit called Raw Aura, which like is like the closest one I guess around here. But like I never hear anyone like there's like a big buzz around it.
Yeah, Aurora is nice. I like their like dessert snacks and their smoothies and stuff.
But it wouldn't be your
But see,
go-to.
the thing about vegan places, everyone always thinks like, oh, they're so expensive and the portions are so small, and I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. And you always hear, I'm still hungry. So it's hard, you know. I like the restaurants that are targeting the people who are hungry,
Right.
not like we don't eat just salad. We
Yeah.
don't eat just like small little, you know. We can eat burgers and we can eat pastas and we can eat all that food, but it's changing. It's changing. There's more and more restaurants like even Doomies, you know, they came out because they were like, we want to show people that vegans aren't always healthy as well.
Yeah.
They eat that junk food. They eat the double Big Macs, you know, and they
Right.
created that vegan style. And I think that's incredible. It's great, you know, to have the options.
Yeah. What else was I gonna ask? Oh, okay, I want to touch on a couple more things. You mentioned way early in the intro that you were a little bit of a tomboy. So what gives you those qualities? Because I never got that impression when I worked with you. I always thought like you were a strong girly girl. You're in a girly industry, I would
Yeah.
think.
Everyone thinks that about me.
Like, is there
I
sports
think
you
like,
play?
well, I mean, I box.
Oh, shoot!
So that's something that I recently started doing and that I absolutely love. And I think I'm very like, I don't know. I like the girly stuff, but you know, like if you take it, like my toenails are never painted, and my friends always laugh at me when I'm wearing heels and stuff. They're like, paint your toenails. I'm like, I don't care, like things like that. But even clothing, I hate shopping. I hate clothing. I hate like materialistic things. And it's not that I'm judging people who love that stuff. That's great. I just personally like I can't do it. I
can't
like
be
to like
bothered.
I'm always in gym clothes nonstop. Like I'm in track pants and a baggy t-shirt all the time. And I love physical activity. I love swimming. I love running. I love boxing. And you know, I've had someone a week ago and they're like, "You're too pretty to box," and I'm like,
Stop thinking that way.
"Yeah," you know. So
That's wild.
yeah, I have a few hobbies and stuff. I love hiking. You know, people will see me in my aesthetic world, but then you know,
Don't
day to
expect to
day,
see you.
my hair is in a horrific bun, and you know, I'm out hiking with my sisters, and I love nature. So you know, yeah.
What's like your uniform you wear when you work from home? Whatever you want, basically.
My uniform when I always like again I'm like black track pants and then I black t-shirt, right? I actually like purchased this aesthetic shirt because it's more hygienic, right? But I will get into a little bit of a uniform, and my clients always see me and one of them was like, "You're so cute, you dress up for me, like you." It's just you know you said I'm the only facial you have today, and I'm like, well, I take it seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Like you don't want to.
I think the way you present yourself matters and to whoever, right? But
Very true.
But
Very
definitely
true.
when
You're
I-
building your brand in your business.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be known as the slob. Like
exactly, you're always representing yourself all the time.
100%.
But yeah, when I don't have clients, I'm definitely not all together.
So last thing I kind of want to touch on is travel, because obviously we've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So you went to Australia for a year and you really planned to go for 2 weeks.
Yes.
How did that come about? What was that opportunity?
So that was my sister went there. It was always our dream to go to Australia because again, we love hiking, we love wildlife. Like my dream was to see a whale in the ocean or, you know,
Beautiful.
kangaroos. It was always my dream, I guess, that curiosity of what's happening on the other side of the world. But I was working for myself at the time. And a big reason I did that was so that I can have more flexibility to travel because, you know, when you're in a job and they're like, oh, you have 11 vacation days for the whole year. And I'm like,
I don't like that.
I can't do that. I love to travel. And so I started working for myself and my sister was like, let's go to Asia. We've always wanted to go to Asia. And I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm going to put this on pause. So we went to Asia and then she was like, I'm going back to Australia. She was supposed to come home with me and she's like, I'm going back to Australia. I love it so much.
When did she tell you? Like just during the trip?
Mid-trip, she reapplied because her visa was ending and she reapplied for an extension, which was like winning the lottery, and she got it while we were in Asia, and she's like, I'm gonna go back. I need to go back just for a little bit longer. Like, I love it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll come visit, you know. And I was very like, I will, I won't, I will, I won't. And I was like, all right, fine, I will. I was having so much fun with her in Asia.
Yeah.
Took the leap, went to Australia. The first day, I was so scared to come out of the apartment. She went to work right away, and I come down, and I was like, I don't know where to go, what to do. So I went to the cafe that she was working at just to say hi to her. And I was so awkward and so nervous just to meet all her friends, you know. And her manager met me and was like, hey, do you want a job here? You can get a job here too. And I was like, what? No, I'm just visiting for a week. And he's like, okay, well, come for a trial tomorrow if you want.
He fully was like, nah, you're staying.
Fully was like,
longer.
nah, you're going to stay. Your sister's here. Australia's amazing. You're not going to leave. Like, he knew before I knew that I was not going to leave. And the next day I did the trial. Then you apply for the visa. Everything happens so quick. And a year later, you're like, oh my God.
So how was that process?
I should go home now.
Did you got a visa to stay in Australia for a year?
So people have like a work visa, a visitor visa. It all depends, right, on if you're working or not.
Was yours a work visa?
Yeah. It's yeah, a lot of people like there's so many travelers in Australia. There's so many travelers, so you do have to like, we went to Bali a lot of times, like a lot of people go to Bali just to like while they're waiting for their visa to approve, and everyone's just like having their fingers crossed. I remember sitting at a restaurant in Bali, and we're just like, me and Paul are just, you know, eating our food, and this girl just starts crying, and we look, and you know, she's sitting right beside you, but it turned out her visa didn't get approved, and she was in Bali waiting for it. And it's so heartbreaking because visas are so tricky, right, when you're living somewhere that, you know. But we got lucky. We got pretty lucky. We didn't want to do farm work or any of that. We could have stayed longer, but we didn't want to do that farm work or anything. But I think a year was enough. I got my fill. I'm so happy. I'm so excited to go back and visit. I wouldn't necessarily work and stay there a year. I mean, if I could, but to go back and visit all my friends, and you know,
that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Like
Australia is amazing. It was so fun.
How was that flight?
You know what?
Don't sugarcoat it.
I feel like I don't remember it. Like, I know when I was having my flight, I remember being so tired. And I remember sitting there, and you're not comfortable. Like, your legs, you have to walk, you have to stretch. You're always sitting next to someone who's, you know, doing something interesting or crying baby or who knows, right? There's always something. But once you get there and after the trip, you forget it. You remember all the fun times. Like, I can't right now. I'm like, I don't remember the flight anymore. But I'm sure if I did it again, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
So you went to Australia, then to Bali, and then back to Australia.
So
or no, you went home after, and she went.
I went from Canada to Asia, and then Australia, and then back to Asia. And then yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And did you do any other travel?
Yeah, so I lived in Cayman Islands as well for 8 months, which was amazing. That was incredible. It was smaller. I'm not really, I learned I'm not really an island girl because it's beautiful. It was like paradise. 7 Mile Beach is paradise, but there was no mountains and not really wildlife, and that's what I love. So I love that about Australia. Yeah, like the next place I want to go to is Africa, you know, because I love nature. I love wildlife. I love to see it all. So being on a beach all day, I get a little bit bored. But Cayman Islands is beautiful. I recommend it to anyone taking a trip. I've traveled all around Europe as well. I haven't been to South America yet, so that's on the list as well. But Europe has been
You're a huge travel bug.
By a lot. Yeah.
Where are you going to next? Arizona?
Isn't
that where your sister lives?
So she lives in Minnesota right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Minneapolis. So we're going to Arizona. Kind of random, totally random trip actually.
No, it's still fun.
But that's me and my sisters one day we're like, let's go to Arizona. So we're also gonna stay in San Diego for a little bit. I've never been to California, so that'll be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a nice trip.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Arizona is gonna be crazy hiking. I think that's where remember that movie where that guy falls in the hole and he has to cut his hand off? What was that
24
movie?
hours
24 hours. That happened in Arizona. So, and that was a true story.
Careful.
It's crazy.
But you're going to be with people. You're not hiking by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, we don't really
Please say you're not going to hike by yourself.
Well, I mean, I'll be with my sister. You know, once I went hiking, me and my friends decided to go to Cairns in Australia, and it's like deep in the jungle, and normally people get tours, and we're like, we don't need a tour. We don't want that touristy stuff. Let's go by ourselves. And we drove the car all the way to the back end of Cairns and just took a hike in the middle of the jungle. We lost the trail at one point. There's signs everywhere that says crocodiles, crocodiles, crocodiles. There are some crazy insects in Australia. And when these guys find you and they chase you and they're like the size of like your fist. Oh my God,
I couldn't even imagine.
That was fun. So maybe I'll get a tour guide for this one, Arizona. We'll see. I have to see how many
That's amazing.
creatures there are. But
So South America is on your list. What else is on your list?
South America, Africa is like huge on my list. I want to go all around Africa. I want to end up in Madagascar. That's my goal. I've always wanted to see Madagascar. I don't know why, but
Is the movie?
just the mix of the not even, but like the mix of, but yeah, for sure, all the animals. I was like, and they're so environmentally cautious, and it's amazing. Like they don't even have a recycling or garbage. Like they don't do that. Everything's reused. But just the mix of jungle with mountains and ocean would be a dream, and wildlife. So yeah. And I love cultural places. Anywhere that's super cultural, I love to learn that. So see what people are doing in other parts of the world, and and even like I always go to spas. Anywhere I travel, I have to go to a spa because I'm like, I want to see what they're doing. I want to see,
100%.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to add to this episode?
So wear your SPF. Take care of your skin, please. If you haven't got a facial, definitely try one. And yeah, and take care of the environment, everybody.
Do you want to plug your social media? Like, what's your brand? Like, what do you call your services?
Mine is _aesthetic. Oh, Claudia Esthetics _Claudia Esthetics.
On Instagram?
On Instagram, yeah. So I definitely post things. I'll try to like give information as well, post the services I'm doing. I answer any questions if anyone has any for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, go check her out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please, wow, English. I always mess this part up. Please give this video. Wow. This is going on YouTube and on Spotify and on the podcast app. But if you're on the podcast app, if you could give this episode 5 stars preferably, it really, really helps. And if you could drop a comment/review, that would be much appreciated. And there will be timestamps in the show notes and the episode summary of this episode, so you guys can kind of see what we talk about at what time, and you guys can kind of skip through to what interests you. But thank you so much for being on. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. And I hope they took away some great skincare tips.
I hope so.
Got their questions answered.
Thank you.